All right, Friday afternoon, SFA Volleyblog Radio in town, Corpus Christi after the Jacks take care of Incarnate Word Thursday. We're down here on the island with Kristyn Nicholson, setter, senior setter now for A&M Corpus Christi. Thanks for being willing to sit down and chat today, Kristyn.
Not a problem. I'm really excited about it.
Cool. Always glad to be back in Dugan. We'll be here twice. Of course, conference tournament is here too, and we'll talk about that in just a second. First, senior year, I remember when you were a freshman and you made a big impact both here on the island and in the conference. Does it seem like that your 4 years here at Corpus Christi has gone fast, or does it seem like it's gone slow?
I would say it's definitely gone fast, being a freshman, I look back at the years and they just kind of blend together a little bit, and it's like, I feel like I kind of blinked my eyes and, I'm here already. It's almost a little sad, because I feel like it passed way faster than I wanted it to, but.
You've got a big catalog of memories, especially with as good as the teams that you've played on have been. But if there are one or two that stick out so far, I mean, there's still plenty to be made. But if there are one or two things that stick out in terms of volleyball memories, you got a few?
I definitely have a few. I would say the first year, our sophomore year, finally getting that 16-0 run and stuff like that. And then in the least offensive way possible, being able to take away y'all's home winning streak in our sophomore, yeah, that was pretty fun, because I think, they're going to come in here, or I know y'all are going to come in here tomorrow and try to do that too, because even though we lost the overall, we still have our home run, and I just think that's a big goal of teams, like Northwestern and UCA want to do that to us, but some other memories, I don't know, just winning the conference tournament twice and being able to kind of do something that our school hasn't done yet. I say that's a big one.
Those winning streaks always do stick in your mind. I'll never forget when our Southland Conference winning streak, the one that you guys had 43, ours was 63 way back in the day, but that was about a decade ago. I call on PA the day that was busted against Lamar. And I can still remember that. So, yeah, those long winning streaks always stay. Let me ask you about a non-volleyball thing here. We'll jump back in. I noticed already, just in being here in the afternoon, Hurricane Harvey. I've already noticed a lot as I've driven around town, go to lunch and things. What was that like for the campus, for the students? Kind of take us through the episodes leading up to the hurricane and what you guys had to do to kind of get out.
Well, we were going to a tournament, SMU, so we literally left maybe a couple hours before they evacuated the whole campus and made all the students get out of the dorms, and we didn't really know, we were on the road finding out it's a Category 2, it's a Category 3, it's Category 4, we were just driving up to Dallas, and we're like, oh my gosh, and we're all freaking, it was scary, it was really, really scary, and we're just like, this hurricane could have the potential to wipe out our whole campus just because we're right on the island, we're right on the water, but the only thing we could really do is kind of stay strong, and then as the days go on, we're traveling for 2 weeks, where Dallas and SMU was very nice and they let us stay there and practice there while we were traveling around, and then we went to Michigan State later that week, but it was just scary, and then we found out that it barely missed us, and we're happy about that, but then we're really upset about Port A and Rockport, and just in coming home after that, we saw all the fences blown down, and then just saw everything, and then people's cars had ants in them, and yeah, it was pretty scary, but I'm just really thankful that it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Well, definitely, as I drove in, still saw lots of evidence in terms of debris, houses boarded up, things like that. We're here inside Dugan Wellness Center, and I've already been told that by the time the tournament is here, there's going to be some video boards installed here. The atmosphere here has always been really cool at Corpus Christi, but forecast kind of what it'll be like to have the conference tournament in here. I believe that it was here the year before you came. Is that right? You haven't?
So, yeah. I'm so excited about it. It couldn't have fallen on a more perfect year, being my senior year and being able to kind of have the home crowd, because we've been at UCA for the past 2 years, and then Northwestern before that. It's been almost so far away that we have no home crowd unless it's our parents, and I feel like it's going to be really exciting to be able to have our own crowd and our own fans and students and such like that be able to come and watch us. So I'm really excited.
You talking through that does remind me that the last time it was here would have been your junior and senior year in high school. I remember being in here for that, and then Northwestern State, and then 2 in UCA. Yeah. Let me ask you about serving. You come into this match tomorrow, tops in the Southland Conference in aces per set, and I don't really talk to many folks about serving other than, the game is serve and serve receive. But what makes a good serve? Describe it to you. Describe to me how you went about creating the serve you have, and what do you think makes it so effective?
I just think the biggest thing is that being a setter, I would say more liberos and DSs have one of the better serves just like overall in the game, just because we don't really have the impact on the third touch. We can't really score points. So that's a way we can make an impact on the game without, the first and second touch. And to me, I actually had a topspin serve in high school, but I kind of went away from that just because, like, as you get older, your body can only handle so much. And then I really like going for it, like for me, it has to be a high toss and it has to come down onto me. And then I just have to go into it quick. And I think it's really fun, to go after the team and then kind of see them a little bit trembling back there and, putting pressure on them and being able, I think the biggest thing is to build point leads and get like a large amount of points in one section, just because that just really helps out the team. And that helped us out a lot last night. And I think it was the first set, or we were tied, and then I was able to push us away until like 18-13, and like being able to impact the team that way. I think that's what I really like about it.
When you changed it, you said you had a topspin in high school. When you changed it to what you're doing now, how long did it take you to where you really got to full comfort level in game, just let it fly?
I would say probably until my kind of end of my sophomore year into my junior year, and then especially being able to go to the USA collegiate national team this summer. I just kind of decided, I was like, I'm gonna just let it go. Like, I'm just gonna serve the crap out of the ball and see what happens. And I feel like that's kind of helping my mental mindset right now, getting into the season.
Did some homework in the hotel in San Antonio early this morning that I want to share with you. One of the things that everybody talks about, not only just the quality of just a setter that you are in general, is that you're very much an aggressive, attacking setter. Coming into the match tomorrow, 281 attacks. I went through and I listed out all the other starting setters in the Southland Conference, and there's not anybody even close. In fact, the average starting setter is only attacked 90 times. So basically what that means is that you're attacking at about a 3 times at higher than average rate. Is this something that, as you've played more and more here at Corpus Christi, you've got more and more conscientious about?
I would say that, yeah. Like when you're younger, you don't really have the core awareness. And as I got older, I was able to get stronger. My left hand got stronger. I'm more comfortable with it. And the biggest thing is, when I was younger, more in club, it'd be the 2 hands. It'd be the side over dump, like the tricky stuff. But now it's like, take one left hand and just shove it down on the court. And I think it's also a big part on Steve, because he at A&M had a couple setters that were really, really aggressive, and he really enjoys that, and he thinks that it creates a lot of opportunities for the hitters, but it also gains some points in the meantime. And he just says go for it. And I remember the Denver game, I had so many attempts, but it's just like, why do I only have to be the setter, when I can make an impact, especially when I'm front row and there's only 2 hitters. I feel like it helps them out a lot and gives them an opportunity, because if there's an attacker in the middle and then on the slide and on the go, maybe I have the middle hesitate with me, and then I have a better opportunity to set the outside.
That resonates with me a lot. And you asked really the question kind of hypothetically that I was going to ask you next, and that is why? Why do you think more setters don't do it? I mean, every time I watch, we've got one setter, I won't mention it, but there's one starting setter in the conference who's only attacked 31 times, and that's in 17 matches. Why do you think most setters won't do it?
I would say it depends. It depends on your body type. Like if they're a little bit smaller, I feel like it's a little bit more difficult to, get up there. The taller setters, I feel like a lot of the time coaches are just like, set your hitters, especially if you make that one dump and it gets dug, and then people are like, why did you do that? That was too easy. But it's more like Steve's like, if you get dug, you create another opportunity for us to get a point. You put them in a free ball situation. It's just, it's a lot on Steve, and he wants me to be aggressive, and I feel like that allows me to, kind of build my game and have more depth to me.
I totally get it. I totally agree with it. What about the back dump? What about, we've seen that with Ann a couple times this season. She's worked on a little bit on the same things you talked about, left hand and things like that. But is that something that you've worked on too, or tried to work into the repertoire, sort of that, over the shoulder kind of backwards dump?
I've worked on it, but with our offense, when I'm front row, we don't really have the middle run too much in front. So if I'm kind of putting it right onto a blocker when I do that. But I usually like to go for three or like kind of deeper corners, switch it up because I just need to find open space, and sometimes there's not open space back there when I have hitters running behind.
Let's talk about schedule. I think the 9-10 record, I think anybody who's paying attention knows that that's a little bit jaded. I mean, I think there's no question that you've played an incredibly tough schedule. For those people that are watching that aren't aware of this, Texas A&M Corpus Christi has played Minnesota, who's ranked number 1, and Texas, who at the time was ranked 5, Michigan State, who was also in the top 25, and let's not forget SMU. You already mentioned Denver and Rice. All of those are top 100 RPI teams right now. So 2 questions on that. Did you enjoy that? Did you enjoy playing against teams like Texas and Minnesota? And what do you think that brings the club now that you're in Southland Conference play?
I just think the biggest thing is, I've had years where we've been here and we didn't necessarily have a hard preseason, and I feel like being able to play the biggest teams lets you know what it takes to be those kind of teams. And I just like it because if we pull an upset, that looks great on us, and then now we're putting out our name to like the whole volleyball nation instead of just keeping it low and like playing like lower ranked teams. And I feel like it brings out the kinks and the things that we need to work on. And playing I don't know, I just loved it because having the opportunity to upset one of those teams, I think, is really important, and especially to the level that we're trying to go, especially like if we can make the NCAA this time, and we don't want to just go and be happy with going. We want to go and be able to win a round or not.
Well, I think the visibility that you've created by winning the conference in the way that you have has more than earned you the opportunity to go play against teams like that. And it really, I think it helps the entire conference. I mean, Corpus Christi is concerned about what it does for them, but what it does for the conference is it raises the overall conference RPI, which is important because if you don't make the tournament, then we got NIVC this time, and that's based on RPI. I want to talk about players now that you play with to wrap some of these questions up. Your 2 fellow seniors, to me, they're both just a joy. I love them both. I've talked to them both. I got a chance to talk, of course, to Brittany Gilpin when you won it last year on the floor down at UCA, and she was just a joy. So let me talk about her first. What's it like to play with her? Let people know. I mean, everybody knows she's good, but just how good?
Well, off the court, she's also one of my best friends. I feel like going in as classmates, 2014 to 2018, being in the same class. We also live in the same apartment, and we live like a door down from each other, but I love her to death. She works so hard, and she's just so naturally gifted, but she's not just okay with being naturally gifted and jumping high. Like, she still wants to get better. She's adding more shots into her game. She's doing better blocking. It's just nice playing with her because when she makes a mistake, and then she knows how to fix it. You can see on her face that she wants to fix it, and she knows what she just did. And she just always wants to get better. Like, she also, I think a goal for all 3 of us is that we wanted to make as much of an impact on this program as we could, and I think that's kind of what we're doing. And I just love playing with her because I know that if we're like in a sticky situation, she can usually get us out of it.
We had a player that just graduated in the middle, Justice Walker, who put her name in the record books. One of the things I loved about Justice is what I love about Madeline Dowd, and that is that when Dowd gets a big block or a big kill, she is just an emotional firecracker. Every time I get on A&M Corpus Christi's website and there's this picture of Dowd, like yelling, it reminds me of Justice back at SFA. I know the one that's like that. It's Blair Gillard at HBU, and I tease Blair every time I see her about it. But Madeline Dowd just really got this emotional way of playing. It seems like it kind of lifts the team up.
Yeah, I think if you talk to her off the court, you can see how happy of a person that she is, and she's just very joyous all the time, and we kind of joke around with it, and Steve calls her a people pleaser, but she just loves, getting big kills and big blocks. Like, that's what she really likes in the games, and she loves getting excited. I don't feel like she's more of a reserved person. I feel like if she's excited, she gets excited, and she's like bubbly and cutesy and like kind of like rainbows and butterflies sometimes a little bit. Yeah, but like I think for her kills and big blocks, what really get her going, and I feel like she always celebrates those. Like she's not gonna ever be quiet anytime she gets one.
Kind of one of the unsung heroes on the team, I think, too. Lots of freshmen on the club. I know it's tough to pick, and I don't want you to feel like you're picking through teammates, but with the three of you set to graduate in terms of indoor, give me a name that I'll be sitting here talking to in 3 years. Give me a freshman that you think, wow, once she gets some development, when you come back here in 2021, she's going to be one of our stars.
Well, one of them I'm thinking of is Mac McKenzie. She's one of our other setters. She kind of plays similar to me, and like she's not on the court because one of us has to be on there, but she has seen some court time, especially, and I think she's a really good personality, and people will follow her when it's her time, and then hopefully she'll kind of grow into that setter position, and then when she's a junior or senior, I think she's going to absolutely own it. A couple other ones, I think Chloe Simon is going to be awesome. Like she has such a great swing, and I feel like, as you kind of have like the freshman thing where
she's got some court time too.
Yeah, she has, and she's played well for us when we need her to. And she's just kind of getting over the freshman humps and stuff like that. But I feel like when she finally gets that huge boost of confidence and kind of grows into herself, I think she's going to be a big impact player.
And last thing, we talked about it off camera, but I'll bring it up here to end the interview. Your parents, Tim and Melissa, you said they'd be here tomorrow. Just fantastic supporters of both you, and that you can just tell talking to them, they just love volleyball. I mean, one of the things I'll never forget is first time I called Southland Conference Digital Network. It was first year we were at Corpus. I was about 5 minutes away from broadcast. Your dad comes down with this big box of donuts. It's like, hey, Greg, you want a donut before you go? I said, no, I don't need a donut before I go on the air. But your parents, I mean, even people, when I talk about you to other people, they mention your parents and how integrated they are and how much they love the game. So let me let you just wrap up by talking about sort of what they mean to you and how supportive they are of you and volleyball in general.
They honestly mean the world to me. Like after every game, they're saying something about the game. It's not just like good game. They've always been engaged. They've always loved the sport. My dad grew up playing, baseball, football, basketball. My mom grew up playing basketball. My grandpa played at OU for basketball. Just kind of like sports has always been a huge thing in the family. And my sister played volleyball a little bit before me. And then when she graduated, I was kind of becoming like a 8th grader, freshman. And then they loved the club scene. They totally got into it. My dad loved prep volleyball and volley talk and all that stuff. He just loved getting into it. He loved knowing where players were going to school and like signing and stuff like that. I just think it's kind of like a hobby for them, just to kind of get away from the real world and their jobs and all like that, and be able to kind of enjoy the sport, and kind of when I talk about it, them actually know what I'm saying, because I feel like there's volleyball lingo that some outsiders may not know, and they really love it. And I know that now it's my senior year, they're trying to be here as much as they can. They're watching every single game. I mean, they always watch every single game online, but now they're trying to be here in person. And they just love this game, and I know that they're super sad that I'm gonna, be graduating, because they're like, what am I gonna do now? Like, what am I gonna talk about now? But there's a huge support system, and I love how they help me, and they're able to talk about like the way I serve and the way I set, and like you could turn a little bit more this way and do this, and like you're getting a single hitter or a single blocker up on your hitters and blah blah blah, and like I don't know, I love them, and I think they've been awesome, and they've been a huge reason why I think I've been kind of successful and like so into it. And I know that they really helped me with the recruiting process too, and they've helped a lot, and I love them.
Kristyn Nicholson, star setter here at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. They'll take on SFA tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Kristyn, always a pleasure to sit down and talk. Thanks for your time. Really gracious. I appreciate it.
Thank you.